So the other day, this gentleman asked me a question that sent me down a rabbit hole, and it was about track deck within WRC. And I didn't know the answer to it. And this rabbit hole it sent me down was shocking. So then, some of the questions I had, I couldn't answer. Does track deck actually have an effect? Does the weather change the effect of the track degradation? Does a change of season affect the degradation? And if you start lower down on the grid or first, is it going to affect your stage times? Just realised this shirt needs owning. The last question that kept bugging me was, do we need a specific setup to deal with the ruts and the grooves, etc.? So I delved into it. I've spent the last few days going down this rabbit hole to get the answers that I think you might want. Now, the stages that I chose are all ones I know very well. I test my setups on there, I warm up on there, just to eliminate any bad driving or skill issues that I might encounter. But basically, all the cars are run on a default setup just to take the elimination out of a setup also. And guys, a lot of effort's gone into this. I've spent a lot of hours driving around the same stage, doing the same thing over and over again. And you know the first sign of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get on with chapter 1. So for the first set of tests I did, I basically took the extremes, the summer season and the winter season, both with no deg, max deg, both in dry weather and extreme rain. Now, what I can tell you is running with no deg in the summer and the winter, both in the dry and the rain, fairly simple. You're not going to worry about too much. You could drive in your normal way. Your normal setups will work. In the wet, yes, you will have to be careful because the grip goes down. So that's that no deg. So let's move on to max deg. Now in the summer, yes, it was harder, but it was only harder because trying to keep the car from reacting weirdly to the bumps and the grooves, you know the thing, make it go all squirrely. At times, that made it difficult, but it wasn't out of control. Now in the winter, the dry was fairly similar to the summer season, except what I would say is there was a little less grip, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's a game thing, I don't know if it's a me thing, but there was a little less grip. But when we go to the rainy weather in max deg, that's when things get tricky. Not only are you dealing with the same bumps and ruts and grooves that you're dealing with in the summer, you're now having to deal with the lack of grip, not knowing where the grip is. And if you cross one of these ruts or these bumps whilst under braking, into a tree you go, just like what happened here. But, and the reason that happens is not all four wheels will be touching the road surface at the same time if you cross over these ruts and these grooves. So a lot of the time when you're braking and you're turning, it's a bit of a gamble, a bit of an educated wish as to whether you will make the corner or not. But again, with the right skill and the right driving, I think you'll be perfectly fine in a club's environment where it is only you running on that stage. So chapter 2 brings me to this test. I wanted to see what the degradation was like in a career mode or solo event. Now the reason I've done this is because obviously other cars will be running on the track with you. So I wanted to see if the other cars made an impact, made a difference. Also the AI was set at 100s, top level AI. Just I thought they'd be driving faster, so it may create a bit more of a rut or a dip. But anyway, I had to do this so many times. To test it out, what I had to do was run it 4 times, and I did it 4 times in the summer because we can just sort of guess what it would be like from what we learned in chapter 1 about how the rain affects how we drive. There's the 4 things that I ran, was obviously I needed to run on no deg, down the order, and no deg starting first, just to see if there's a difference. And then again, max deg, down the order, max deg starting first. I did it on this stage in Estonia. I hold a few top 10s on this stage, so I know it very well. There's not going to be a skill issue there. And I think the best way for me to show you what I've sort of come along with is this timing table. So the first times are both summer and winter. All 4 runs, no degradation. One, I started down the order. The other one, I started first. So, starting down the order in summer with no track deg, I did a 2-minute 45.2. And then in the same summer scenario, starting first, I did a 2-minute 44.9. So 3 attempts faster, give or take. It is what it is. There is no track deg. It's probably a skill issue driving. Now for winter times, down the order, no track deg, 2:48.7. And when I started first, it was a 2:48.3. Again, couple of attempts, bit of a skill issue. Who knows? Now, I've only done this for the dry weather, as we could take what we learned in chapter 1 to sort of take an educated guess, or an uneducated guess in my case, of what rainy weather would be. So, as you would expect, when there is no degradation involved, the times don't vary too much between starting down the order and starting first. We're talking a couple of attempts here or there, which I would expect, as you don't have to worry too much about where the car's positioned, as we don't have any ruts or bulges to push the car in any weird way. But what I did notice is the big difference across the 2 season types. So we're talking 3 to 4 seconds between summer and winter, which is massive. And I don't know why that is. I can't see that they've coded something different in the game, but that is just how it happens. Arguably, I drove better during the winter runs than I did in the summer. So to see that time disparity, I cannot explain it. So now let's take a look at the max degradation times that I managed to set. So in the summer, my max deg time and starting down the order was a 2-minute 50.1, which is considerably slower than the no deg. It's about 5 seconds. In fact, it is 5, well, it's 4.9 seconds if we're being precise and doing this in a scientific, educated way. And then for max deg starting first, it was a 2-minute 48.1. So 2 seconds faster than starting down the order, which already shows to me that max deg does have an impact, and cars running in front of you do churn up the track a little bit more. But when we move to the winter, on the max deg starting down the order, it was a 2:53.2, and when I started first, it was a 2:52.3. So only 9 attempts faster in the winter. Don't know why that is. Again, could be a skill issue. I don't know why there's such a disparity in the times. 2 seconds in the summer, only a second in the winter. I don't know. Again, can't imagine it's been coded into the game, but if it has, fair play to them. So there's about 3 to 4 seconds across summer to winter. Now, you might be asking, why did summer? Spring, autumn and summer produce the same average time. So I just went with summer. You know, it's drier, dustier, etc, etc. You get the job. Now, just for my own personal peace of mind and try to cover all the areas, I did decide to run this same stage on a solo event and run it 6 times in a row on max deg to see if consistent running on the stage did change the surface. And to be honest with you, I could feel a change in the road surface through my wheel, but visually there was no change at all. No change. I could feel it, but I couldn't see it, so I didn't know when something was happening in front. I couldn't fix it. I had to wait and feel it and react to it, which I don't know if it's lazy, I don't know if it's me, but definitely the track deg definitely got worse during runs 4, 5 and 6. 6 being so hard, but you couldn't see it, so you're just trying to react to it through the wheel. So all this suggests to me that max deg is obviously slower than no deg, and by a considerable amount. But also, if the cars that run in front of you, they may actually have a slight impact on the road surface. Not a lot, but they may have a slight impact on it. Again, it looks static, but when I did my 6 runs on the same stage throughout, I could feel the change. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that was just me. I don't know. But it is what it is. So for my third test, I just want to do a quick Rally 1 comparison on one stage, just to see what the difference would be between no deg and max deg in summer, just so we can get the full list of all the degradations. Basically, no deg was a 2 minute 10.5, light deg was a 2 minute 11.9, so 1.4 second difference just between no deg and light deg. And moderate deg was 2 minute 13 dead, 1.1 second change. Heavy degradation was a 2 minute 17.7, which was 4.7 seconds. So that was a big difference. And then max deg was a 2 minute 20.1. So with all that being sort of tested, I've probably missed a few things, but I did want to see what every sort of track degradation sort of impacts it had. And from what I'm seeing, there is quite a big disparity between no deg and max deg for me across this stage. It was about 10 seconds. Now, at the start of the video, I mentioned, would we need to change our setups to reflect what the road surface is like and what the track deg is like? And even though I never tested the setups directly, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, yes, you need to change your setup profile. Mainly your suspension and your dampening. Your suspension, what you want to be looking at is your ride height. But if you raise your ride height, that adds more body roll to the car. So then your anti-roll bars need to be changed in suit. And then with your dampening, I found on max deg, you can end up bouncing over the grooves and ridges, which is awful for the stability of the car. So making sure that your dampers are strong enough to absorb some of those bumps, but not so much that, you know, bouncing over them bumps is a big factor into how well you can keep your car stable. Now, if you're in club events, you haven't got to worry too much, because to me, it's just going to be a static track degradation. Nothing's going to change. No one's running in front of you, whatever. It's just you on that stage. So you're okay for clubs. You may have to make a few changes to your setup, but you're okay. But your TT setup will not work in clubs or solo events that have max track deg, and your setup for TT is for obviously perfect, ideal conditions. But ultimately, it's up to you how you change your setup. That's just you sort of want to go between not too soft and not too firm. I know that doesn't help, but again, it's all down to you. Now, if I could try and conclude this in as fewer words as I can, to me, track deg does have an impact on the overall times. From what I saw happening, the season you are in also impacts the times. Why that happens in game, I am unsure. In real life, I know why, but in game, I'm not sure. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. If I missed anything again, let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and please like the video. I'll see you all very soon.